The Woman in the Woods. Our family lived on a modest farm tucked deep in the woods of northern Pennsylvania. It was the early 1900s. No electricity, no neighbors for miles, just thick trees, cold earth, and the sound of the wild all around us. My father built the house with his own two hands, clearing trees one by one to make space for the little cabin where we lived. He used the wood for our fireplace and our fences, and he always told me the forest would take back what didn't belong if we weren't careful. One night in early autumn, I was sitting by the window in my room, a candle flickering low on my bedside table. The wind whispered to the tall pines that bordered the field, and beyond them, nothing but shadow. That's when I saw her, a tall, thin figure standing between the trees. Her dress was long, black, tattered like a funeral gown dragged through dirt. Her skin looked pale, even in the moonlight, and her eyes, if she had eyes, seemed to be watching me. She didn't move. She didn't flinch. Just stood there, barely visible in the darkness. I rubbed my eyes, thinking it was a trick of the candlelight. When I looked again, she was gone. After that, I felt it every time I played outside, like something was watching me. Even on the brightest days, I'd catch my breath suddenly, sensing eyes on my back. But I said nothing. I didn't want to seem like a coward. Once a month, I'd venture into the woods. Not far, just enough to push past the tree line. My boots would crunch on old pine needles, and I'd whisper to the trees, daring her to show herself again. But she never did. Then winter came, cold and cruel. One day, while wandering the forest edge, I found something. A bird, dead, stiff, its neck twisted unnaturally. A few feet further, a rabbit with its stomach torn open. Then a sheep, one of ours, missing for days. It was soaked in dry blood, its eyes wide with terror. All the bodies led in a line, deeper into the woods. On one tree, there were streaks of blood, not like claw marks. No, these were drag handprints. I followed them, heart racing, breath cloudy in the cold air. But the trail vanished beyond a thicket of blackbriars. I ran home. That night, I saw her again. She was standing in the same place between the trees. But this time, there was blood dripping from her mouth, thick and slow like syrup. Her head tilted ever so slightly, and I swear she smiled. I yanked the blinds down so fast the candle nearly went out. I told my parents, told them everything. My mother clutched her apron and said I had too much imagination. My father scoffed. "I've been in those woods more than you've been alive," he said, setting down his pipe. "I cut lumber there. Hunted. There ain't no woman out there, son. You're seeing shadows." He even told me he cut down the last tree by my window so he could chop it up for firewood. "Nothing left to tap on the glass now," he said with a smirk. But I knew better. Weeks passed. No woman, no animals, just snow and silence. Until one rainy night, I was laying in bed, listening to the water drum on the roof. The wind carried a new sound, a soft rustle, not like rain, more like footsteps on wet grass. I crept to the window and peeked out. She was there, but not in the woods. She was on the field now, closer, her black dress soaked and clinging to her thin frame. She walked slowly, deliberately, her eyes fixed on my window. I screamed, ran straight into my parents' room. My father leapt up, grabbed his shotgun, and burst out the front door into the storm. He searched the yard, the woods, everything. Came back soaked and furious. "There's nothing out there," he barked. But I knew what I saw. I stopped sleeping. For the next 8 months, every single night, I'd stare at that window, waiting, but she never came back. Eventually, I started closing the blinds. And that's when the tapping began. Light at first, just once or twice a night. I told myself it was the wind or a loose shingle. But some nights, it would go on for hours. Tap, tap, tap. Weeks later, I walked out into the woods again. Not far, just past a line of trees. But there were no bodies now. No blood. No handprints. Just silence. I laughed at myself. Maybe they were right. Maybe I'd made it all up. A scared little boy's fantasy. I felt foolish. That night, I went to bed, finally at ease. I laid on my back, staring up at the wooden ceiling, listening to the tapping. Tap, 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 and then something clicked. The tree was gone. There was no branch left to tap the glass. My blood turned cold. I sat up slowly. The tapping continued, rhythmic, deliberate. I stood up, legs trembling, and walked to the window. My hand reached out and gripped the blind string. With a swift motion, I pulled it open, and there she was, a tall, slender woman in black, her face pale as snow, her mouth twisted in a wide, blood-red smile, eyes bloodshot and bulging, staring straight into mine, her long hands pressed against the glass. I didn't even have time to scream. She shattered the window. Her hands grabbed me, fast as lightning, her fingers cold and hard like bone. She pulled me through the window as if I weighed nothing. I felt my neck twist violently, snap, and everything went black. I heard my mother's scream echo in the distance, then my father's boots pounding on the wooden floor. They burst into my room, but I was gone. Just blood, broken glass, a cold wind. My father rushed to the window and looked out into the woods, shotgun shaking in his hands. That's when he saw them, 2 tiny red dots, glowing faintly, watching from the dark, frozen with fear. For years now, I have watched my family grow old from the darkness of the forest I now call home.